I know the real Bernie Mac stories, and I know that the people that made money off Bernie Mac didn't like him. They hated his guts. And that was our king. But I turned it down. Why? Because you on Bernie.
Yeah, I'm about to expose every lie they done told, like how they trafficking kids and why they ain't got a soul. They feeding off our energy, trying to destroy the globe. They got weather control, they even making it snow. But we can't run from it, gotta grab it by the antler.
Let's talk about this, y'all. Let's talk about this for a second, because Cat Williams has been exposing everything and everybody. Okay? And he even went to the extent of bringing up the passing of Bernie Mac. I don't think anybody has touched on this, but this most definitely needs to be touched on, because it was a lot of rumors circulating about what actually took place when it came to Bernie Mac and his passing, even in its connection to Steve Harvey. All right. And so I found this video kind of interesting. I didn't even watch it, y'all. I haven't watched the whole video. This is going to be a 2-part segment. So y'all tune in, because I do believe that we finna go on the rag, y'all. And with that being said, man, I want to say this, man. I cannot confirm or deny anything that's about to get ready to be said in this video, but I will ask, as always, that you guys use discernment. And without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and jump into this.
I know the real Bernie Mac stories, and I know that the people that made money off Bernie Mac didn't like him. They hated his guts. And that was our king. But I turned it down. Why? Because you on Bernie. And I know the truth. You think I'm gonna let you on Bernie and then come get me? And now that he gone, you gonna act like he wanted to be a movie star. You stop it. You stop it. That man was funnier than all of y'all, and y'all thought y'all had one over on him.
Hey man, that hurt it, man. It really did, man, because you know it was from nowhere, man. It's just, and he, you know, they put him in a compromising position that he really didn't want to be in. So, you know.
So right when Bernie had proven his point, and right when Bernie showed everybody who he actually was, and curtain scene.
Bernie Mac was the king of comedy, and his career seemed unstoppable. But his sudden passing at 50 years old has led to lots of speculation. A month before his sudden passing, on July 12, 2008, Bernie Mac appeared at a private fundraiser for then-presidential candidate Obama in Chicago. The crowd was filled with donors who had paid $2,300 per ticket. But Bernie refused to tone down his comedy style to appease the crowd. He launched into the usual straight-talking comedic style he was famous for, and nothing was off limits. He joked that having a black first lady is different. You're still going to have to do the dishes and the laundry and all that. And then went on to refer to women as hoes. Offended audience members began heckling him, telling him to get off the stage. He said that although he was born a Democrat, "I'm a Republican at tax time," which the audience of Democratic donors did not find amusing. When Obama finally came onto the stage, he also admonished Bernie for his act, stating, "We can't afford to be divided by religion, or by region or class, or by gender," and added, "That means, by the way, Bernie, you got to clean up your act. This is a family affair." After the fundraiser ended, the Obama campaign officially issued a statement clarifying that Obama did not condone Mac's statements, referring to them as inappropriate.
To me, man, I just feel like these so-called Democrats and Republicans, man, y'all take things too serious, man. And so for those of you who are watching this, man, you need to understand this as well, man. There is no such thing as the left wing or the right thing. They all have wing. They have the same agenda. The same agenda, y'all. It's just crazy.
In front of a presidential candidate and a crowd full of donors, Bernie refused to tone down his act to fit in. Right up until the end, he was fearless.
I ain't scared of you, mother.
Fame and success had not corrupted Bernie, and at the time, Bernie seemed unstoppable, with his career going from success to success. But a month later, Bernie Mac would be dead. At just 50 years old, the comedy legend suddenly passed away. His sudden death shocked the comedy world and has led to all sorts of theories over what actually happened to him.
You know, and then when they sit there and they play psychological blackmail with you.
In this video, we will discuss Bernie Mac's life and his final days. Bernie Mac grew up with humble beginnings on the south side of Chicago. He was raised in a large, loving family, being one of several children. His father abandoned the family when Bernie was young, causing them great financial difficulties. His mother, Mary McCullough, did her best to provide for Bernie and his siblings as a single mom. Bernie's grandfather was a revered deacon at the local Baptist church, where religion and faith were pillars of the family's life. They ended up living above a Baptist church as their old housing was torn down. Even at a young age, Bernie's talent for comedy and impersonations was evident. He would often use comedy to cheer up his mother, and when Bernie was just 8 years old, he entertained the church congregation by imitating his grandparents' mannerisms and speech at the dinner table. The church roared with laughter and applause. Bernie realized then he could make people smile through humor and laughter. However, Bernie's childhood was struck with tragedy in his adolescent years. When Bernie was young, he accidentally stumbled upon his mother leaving the shower. He noticed that her chest had a large scar on it from a surgery. His mother angrily told him to go away.
And she said, "Close the door."
Bernie then asked his grandmother what was wrong with his mother's chest. His grandmother replied that Bernie should ask his mother later. Later that day, Bernie questioned his mother, but she refused to answer.
I knocked on the door. My mother was dressed. She said, "Now what is it you want to ask me, son?" And I said, "Mom, what's wrong with your chest?" She said, "It's none of your business."
Soon after this, when Bernie was 16 years old, his beloved mother passed away after a battle with cancer. He was distraught, but discovered that his mother had left a long letter to him to be read after her passing. In that letter, she explained in detail why she kept it a secret and praised Bernie, telling him he would go on to do great things.
And she had in a letter, "Don't worry about Bernie. Bernie's going to pass everybody."
A year after his mother's passing, his older brother suddenly passed away from a heart attack. And soon after this, his estranged father passed away from kidney failure.
Now, when I hear suddenly and all this type of stuff, man, you know, my spider senses automatically get to tingling, y'all, because to me, nothing happens just suddenly, okay? And we know, and I know it's going to offend a lot of y'all, man, we know that even though Bernie Mac was very loved, y'all, he still was in this industry, okay? And so, even though I do believe not everyone takes that door, but a lot of them do, y'all. And I can't overlook Bernie, man. So
this was followed by his grandmother also passing away in short succession. It was a heartbreaking time for the young Bernie. Dealing with this tremendous grief, Bernie turned to comedy as an escape and a way to heal. He wanted to bring laughter to audiences during times when there wasn't much to laugh about.
My grandfather, when he passed away at the funeral, it was real. You know, black funerals be boring and stuff, you know. I got up and I performed for like an hour, 45 minutes.
How old were you?
Well, I was in my 20s.
Really?
And everyone after that, you know, was like, "Man, that was deep. That was cool. You broke it." So when every time somebody died, they called me.
now look at Oprah up there sitting in the red, y'all.
To support himself financially, Bernie worked various jobs around Chicago, including as a delivery driver and factory worker. But he continued developing his true passion on the side, stand-up comedy. Bernie started mimicking humorous impressions and telling jokes on the Chicago public transportation for spare change. 1977 was a decisive year for both Bernie's personal and professional. 19-year-old Bernie married his high school sweetheart, Rhonda Gore, who stuck by his side as he struggled to make it big. 30 years later, Rhonda would remain by Bernie's side, talking to him while he lay dying.
And I remember telling him, I said, "Oh, please don't die. Please don't die." I said, "I'm here. I'm waiting for you. I'll take care of you. Just don't die. Don't die."
Early on.
Now, I call BS on that, y'all. I call BS on that. Look at her facial expression. We know at this point, man, and I'm going to say allegedly, y'all, It's my humble opinion that I believe that she has something to do with it, because she didn't have any bit of emotion in that at all. It was fake and phony. It was fake and phony, man. When you hurt, man, I believe that a person that's hurt, man, you're going to be able to feel this hurt through whatever. Even though she was on television, you're going to be able to feel that hurt as well. That's that, because if I'm hurt, I guarantee you're going to feel it. You're going to feel my emotion. For those of you who are able to be empathetic, man. So I just don't believe that she was hurt. And just from like seeing this whole thing, I can guarantee you she has something to do with it.
Rhonda provided immense personal support, while Bernie spent years developing his voice as one of Chicago's up-and-coming young comics. That same year, in 1977, Bernie also joined the competitive Chicago Comedy Club circuit. The city had a vibrant and competitive comedy scene, which proved to be a rigorous training ground for Mac. He quickly gained a local following with his sharp wit and captivating storytelling style that drew from his personal experiences. Bernie struck a chord with audiences by telling it like it is. They loved his edginess, rawness, and authenticity. His vernacular and unique language made him hilarious, yet also relatable. For years, he worked at his craft. His comedy style eventually caught the attention of veteran black comedians like Red Fox and Slappy White, who helped Bernie by inviting the young comic to perform in Las Vegas in 1989. The next year, Bernie's comedy career took off as he won the Miller Lite Comedy Search, the biggest comedy competition in Chicago at the time. This rocketed him to wider prominence. Bernie performed outrageously provocative yet humorous routines to captivate the judges. His unfiltered brand of comedy became his trademark. Around this time in the early 1990s, Bernie got his big break when he performed on the HBO variety show Def Comedy Jam. This show was crucial in showcasing African-American comedians to a broader audience and was a stepping stone for many comedians' careers. Mac's appearance on Def Comedy Jam is often remembered for his fearless performance, where he famously took control of an initially resistant audience by declaring, "I ain't scared of you."
I ain't scared of you, mother. I'm gonna tell you something straight off the mother press. I ain't coming for no foolishness.
This line became a catchphrase and a testament to his bold approach to comedy. But Bernie Mac's biggest breakthrough came after the massive success of Spike Lee's 2000 film, The Original Kings of Comedy. This featured performances from Bernie Mac alongside comedians Steve Harvey, D.L. Hewley, and Cedric the Entertainer. The film made over $38 million and skyrocketed Bernie to national fame. Bernie's set in particular was a standout in this film. His charisma and his ability to captivate the audience with his straight-talking stories about his family life brought him critical acclaim. His performance was not only hilarious but also emotionally resonant, showcasing his talent for turning personal experiences into comedy. Capitalizing on his fame from Kings of Comedy, Fox took a chance on Bernie Mac with his own self-titled sitcom in 2001.
Now, see, I seen a lot of red flags in here already, y'all. Like, you know me, I'm just a truth teller. One is her. One is her. Just look at her face, man. Does this look like the face of somebody that's actually hurt? Can you imagine the things that Bernie Mac may have done to her, or he may have not have done to her, but does this look like a face that looks like it's hurt? To me, this look like a great actor, y'all. She looks like a great actor, and right now she's living a life of luxury off of his insurance money and off of his money that he saved up because he probably loved her so much that he left everything to her. See, what I want y'all to understand is this, man. There's a lot of agents, man. A lot of agents that is placed in the circle of these people who want to be celebrities. I want y'all to pay attention to something too. 3 of Bernie Mac's family members passed suddenly. His mom, which we could say, you know, that could have been of natural cause because obviously this is something that he didn't know about from the story that he told. Okay. But then we had his brother and his grandmother pass suddenly. Okay. And for me, when I see these type of things, man, they give me initiation vibes. Okay. As if he was being initiated in order to get to the status that he needed to be. Okay. But see, he didn't just go right into his stardom, because that would have been too obvious, right? A lot of people would have been saying, how is it that he, these people pass and then Bernie Mac becomes who it is that he is, right? So he hustled for a little bit, okay? He hustled for a little bit more. And then we have Red Fox, and I forgot the other name that was mentioned. We have them being brought in, right? They bring him in because you have to understand, this is how it's done, y'all. This is how it's done. Understand where I'm coming from, okay? They have other people who's already at that level of stardom come in and say, hey, we want to give you a helping hand. And that was only based off of the that he made, okay? And that's just my humble opinion, right? And so after that, we see him go on, right? We see him go on to get his own self-acclaimed television show. That's a red flag in itself, y'all. So you have to understand, as soon as he passed, okay, which, there are allegations being made that Steve Harvey has something to do with his passing, okay? After he passed, we see Steve Harvey get his self-acclaimed television show. Then he go on and he get, I think it's The Price is Right, y'all. I know it ain't The Price is Right, but I think it was Family Feud, right? He got that. So I'm just showing y'all a trend, right? And I know it's a lot of people that's going to be like, man, Bernie Mac, that was a tough one. It was. I remember when I heard Bernie, y'all. I remember when I first heard Bernie had passed, bro. I'm like, what? Bernie was just in great health, Joe. How is it that he just passed coincidentally? There is no such thing as a coincidence. Understand that. There's no such thing as a coincidence, okay? But I just wanted to point those things out because even though we digging into these type of things, we can't overlook the fact that he put himself in this situation. That's something that we can't look in because he signed a deal with the devil. He signed a deal with the devil because had he not, especially during these times, he would have never made it to be in the position that he was in. And once he did that, I can guarantee you his level of stardom led him into many bedrooms or led many women to his hotel room, which eventually led his wife to being hurt. Or she could have been insecure, y'all. She could have assumed that he was doing these things, and because of that, she didn't care about him passing, y'all. But we all know when it comes to money and people who are money motivated, she probably didn't care as long as she knew that she was going to be well off anyway. But that's something that she has to deal with the Most High. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section below, man. We already getting out to a rough start. All right? And so with that being said, man, I'll be right back at y'all with this second one, man. And y'all know what it is, man. I just want to leave y'all as I can. I want you guys to always be aware, because to be aware is to be alive. And as always, peace, family. Peace meaning positive energy. Always creates elevation. Ashe.